Hi, I'm Keith Barry, and the first thing you have to know about the all-new 2017 Kia Niro is that it only comes as a hybrid. That means every Niro on the road is going to have a 104 horsepower gas engine working along with a 43 horsepower electric motor. But unlike other eco-friendly cars, the Niro is designed to have some mass-market appeal. With its crossover-like styling, its straightforward interior, and the promise of fuel economy up to 52 miles a gallon, the Niro is supposed to attract the kind of buyer who might not otherwise consider a hybrid. Now that doesn't mean the Niro isn't without its challenges. Even though it looks like a crossover, it doesn't come with all-wheel drive, and it can't match the fuel economy of the well-known Toyota Prius. In an era of cheap gas, any hybrid is a tough sell. That's why the Niro has to be a good car, not just an efficient one. Let's find out if it's up to the job. When it comes to exterior design, most hybrids follow one of two formulas. You either get an aerodynamic hatchback like the Toyota Prius or the all-new Hyundai Ioniq, or you get a hybridized version of a popular sedan like the Ford Fusion or the Kia Optima. But the Niro stands out among hybrids by blending in. Outwardly, there's nothing to suggest this new Kia is anything other than a conventional, compact crossover. Aside from a hybrid badge in the back that's no bigger than my thumb, it looks like a competitor to the Honda HR-V, Mazda CX-3, the Chevy Trax, or Toyota's new CHR. The same goes for the interior, which is decidedly conservative. For instance, buttons and controls are big enough to find by touch, and they're all exactly where you'd expect to find them. My only gripe is the blue trim on the vents. It's popular in hybrids from all manufacturers, but I think it kind of looks like that protective film that you peel off a new TV or refrigerator. Hybrids tend to sell at a premium over their gas-only counterparts, and the Niro is no exception. It starts at just under $23,000, which is about $3,500 more than a base Honda HR-V. A fully loaded Niro Touring sells for $32,840, but a loaded HR-V will save you $5,660 over that, and it comes with all-wheel drive. At least the Niro's well equipped. It doesn't matter if you buy the entry-level FE, the mid-priced LX or EX, or the upscale Touring. Every Niro comes standard with a 6-speed automatic transmission, Android Auto and Apple CarPlay support, dual-zone climate control, and automatic headlamps. Higher-priced cars get you extras like upgraded wheels and extra trim, heated and cooled leather seats, a heated steering wheel, and a sunroof. Unfortunately, popular active safety features cost extra, and that's if they're available at all. For instance, nearly every new Toyota comes standard with automatic emergency braking. But even on the high-priced Kia Niro Touring, you still have to pay extra for it. And on the entry-level FE, it isn't available at all. And no matter how much you pay, you can't buy a Niro with all-wheel drive. Now that might not matter in Southern California, but New Englanders who are in the market for a small crossover will walk right past the Kia and buy a Subaru Crosstrek instead. Even though it is a hybrid, the Niro is not sluggish. Electric acceleration feels brisk, and handoffs to the gas engine aren't really noticeable. I'm a big fan of the brakes. They're regenerative, which means they take energy which would otherwise be wasted as heat and convert it to electricity to recharge the hybrid battery. Now, on most hybrids, regenerative brakes are oddly grippy and non-linear, but on the Niro, they're predictable and smooth. It's clear that Kia's engineers put a lot of effort into making the Niro comfortable, but I think they went just a little too far. For instance, the suspension's a bit too cushy for my taste, and the steering feels too disconnected from what the front wheels are doing. All gripes aside, I think the Niro is a good car. It's predictable, it's comfortable, it's practical, and all those other ulls that helped Kia sell a boatload of Sorrentos and Sportages over the years. But is it a good hybrid? To find out, I drove it back-to-back with a brand new Toyota Prius. You might think the new Prius looks ugly, or you might worry that it doesn't fit with your image. But despite a recent dip in sales, Toyota has sold 1.6 million of them in the US since 2000. That means it's the best-selling hybrid in the country, and it's the car the Niro has to beat. In terms of styling, it's no comparison. Yeah, the Prius has its niche appeal, but the Niro has mass appeal. And the same goes for technology. You can't even get CarPlay or Android Auto on the Toyota. And after driving the Prius on the highway, I immediately noticed how much louder it was than the Niro. Now, that's partially because the Prius trades extra soundproofing materials for weight savings, but it's also because the Prius has a noisy, electronically controlled, continuously variable transmission instead of the Niro's dual-clutch 6-speed. But when I had to load up some boxes I was moving, I picked the Prius. Despite the Niro's SUV-like profile, the Prius's hatchback actually fits more stuff, up to 11 more cubic feet of stuff, depending upon how you measure. The Niro Touring I drove also had a warning label in the trunk that told me I couldn't load it with more than 130 pounds of cargo. I've never seen a warning like that before in any car, so I reached out to Kia to ask why it was emblazoned on the load floor and embroidered in the cargo mat. I'm still waiting to hear back, but just in case, I didn't put any heavy boxes back there. And then there's the issue of fuel economy. I was already at a disadvantage because I was driving a Niro Touring. While the EX and LX are rated at 49 mpg combined and the FE is supposed to get 50 miles a gallon, the Touring's luxury options add extra weight and bring its average combined fuel economy down to 43 miles a gallon. But that's not what happened. I drove the Niro in the city, I drove it on the highway, I drove it in the suburbs, and I drove it in rush hour traffic, and I never got above 40 miles a gallon. In fact, I averaged about 35 miles a gallon. Now that's not bad for a feature-laden crossover, but it's also nowhere near the 43 miles a gallon combined that's promised on the window sticker. And it's nowhere near the 50 miles a gallon I got in a Toyota Prius, driving the exact same routes in the exact same way. Still, I don't think that's going to matter to a lot of would-be Niro buyers. This car is practical, it's capable, and it's aimed at the needs of small families and empty nesters. It just happens to be a hybrid. And if it's fuel economy you really care about, there's a plug-in hybrid version coming in 2018. But if it's a compact crossover you're looking for, the Kia Niro is a safe bet. And if you want a hybrid, there's always the Toyota Prius. Thanks for watching. Read my full review of the Kia Niro over at CarGurus.com. Be sure to watch our other videos, and if you like what you see, subscribe.